Hey everyone, Tactics here, concluding my High Dungeon Commentary series with a plus 20 Sanguine depths. Just like with the other videos in this series, I'll be showing you guys the route that we used, going over my own play and defensive usage as a Guardian Druid, and giving you all some tips and tricks that we use to time high keys. Remember, if you found this video useful, be sure to like and subscribe to be notified when I post more Warcraft content, and let's get right into it. Again, 1.25 times speed, just like my other videos, for so the video is a bit shorter. And we're starting off here with a pretty big pull. So I'm going to go actually all the way up and pull all this stuff to here. We have our Venthyr opening our gate right now, and we're just slowly going to kite back into it. What you'll notice is that all the melee are on this right side of this little carpet here, while I'm on the left side, and that's to avoid these frontal cones so no one gets hit by them. So now I'm just trying to keep them inside this Venthyr canister, stepping on traps when needed to kind of clear the space for melee a little bit. And we're just going to use this to get our big buff, Venthyr buff here. It is Sanguine weak, so we do have to slowly kind of kite back and then go back and loop around. But it's not too bad. We've managed to get most of the dangerous stuff here dealt with. And so now I'm going to loop it back around to try and get this last tick of the buff. Yeah. Unfortunately killed him a little bit too far away, but that's okay. Yeah, and for some reason this guy doesn't pull. So it's weird. Sometimes the left Hunt Master doesn't pull. Sometimes the right Hunt Master doesn't pull. This was just a mistake on our part. We should have double checked mid-pull to see if this guy had come. But yeah, wasting a bunch of time on our 8 stack, and it would have been a 10 stack if we had done this correctly. So that is one thing to note there. You can get a full 10 stack, a full duration 10 stack right at the end of that pull, and that is the ideal scenario. And you just shroud skip the rest of this stuff. Now, I feel like the play would probably be to try and, I didn't speed boost there, but if we had speed boost shrouded to the big scary pack with our buff, that probably is the best play there, and then come back and do this after. But basically what I'm doing is I'm just pulling one tick from this room. We're going to kill it down, and then we'll move on to the next pack that has a couple ticks in it as well as we kill these ticks. I moonfired one tick on the left here, and that is enough to not... They're not actually connected, this pack, for some reason. So you can pull just the one tick, and now you see the other 2 ticks are just kind of chilling there. So we're going to pull into that now. And at this point, we're basically just recovering cooldowns so that we can have everything going into the next big pack. Yeah, I think the play would probably be, if you have Shroud for this anyways, you Stampeding, you Shroud, and you skip this whole pack entirely. With your 10 stack, you go right on top of the big pack, this one, and you nuke that down. Because this is definitely the scarier pack. Yeah, I do have Incarn for this pack now after using it at on the first pack, so that's like the one major difference, but it wouldn't be the end of the world if I didn't have Incarn for this pack, especially if we had a 10 stack of the Sanguine buff, the Sanguine Depths buff. Yeah, this is a pretty close to 20% total pride, so we don't have to worry too much about killing everything together. We can kill the brute just last in general, and it'll still be fine. We won't spawn the pride early here. So we'll just get it down, move into the pride, and then we'll move that with Bloodlust into the first boss. Not too much going on here. There. Skip through to that pride. Move right into the boss with Lust and Pride. So yeah, we're going to line up basically just behind the boss here. There is a strat where you have people just run super far to not spawn orbs. Honestly, at this difficulty, it's not too big a deal to eat the orbs. I mean, honestly, you could eat all 5 orbs just staggered, going up to like as high as like a 24. Honestly, 25. I mean, yeah, Ellesmere group is eating the first set of orbs even on a 25. So it's definitely not a big deal to just eat them. So we just stagger eat them here with our priest cooldowns. Yeah, the one thing is, though, you do want to eat it before that Hungering Drain cast. That's just the one thing, because it will amp its damage up a little bit. If you saw that last orb did significantly more damage than the rest. So that's just the one thing. You need to make sure you soak fast enough that the Hungering Drain cast hasn't gone off yet. But that's really the only thing to note. Yeah, same deal here. We'll just stagger eat these ones. And that's pretty much the fight here. Like I said, so these can be immunity, the rush. So evasion works actually as well for rogues. Obviously ice block, any kind of immunity if you want to avoid that damage and you get lucky on a target. And you can, like I said, if you tank the boss, or we're just going to kite this one out, by the way. We're just going to eat the one orb and kite. But if you tank the boss on this far side, you can actually have people run all the way to the back of this hall and avoid getting orbs entirely, but that affects DPS uptime a decent amount, and it's just in general not necessary, I would say. So here, yeah, we're just pulling the 2 oppressors right into these sprites. And then from there, we're going to chain these 2 oppressors into the next room when they're almost dead. So just moving forward. And here, I mean, obviously Beam is very, very good for this. We don't have a Boomkin. We don't have a Demon Hunter for AoE Silence either. So it's really just any form of disorients, interrupts on individuals, stuns, all those kinds of CCs to kind of prevent anyone from getting one shot by getting hit by like 3 or 4 bolts in a row and a rack soul kind of deal. Just literally any form of CC that works that can just delay a cast even if it doesn't interrupt it entirely is what you want to do. So on this gargoyle, I'm going to dodge the bleed. So you see I'm going to immediately go right. And as a tank without a gap closer, this is like the only really way to do it, right? Obviously Demon Hunters can jump. Same with Warriors. So for people that can't jump, this is the way to go. You wait for this. Then I speed boost myself away. He's going to cast it there. And I'm going to basically have dodged all the bleeds. We go into this next pack. And we just want to finish off that gargoyle before we do anything else. Yeah, we're actually not going to use this canister yet. We're going to save it for the next pack. Little tip here. Yeah, the bindings as a Guardian Druid. In these Overseer packs, you're actually able to shift into cat form to break the bindings instead of running out. And the oppressors, for the most part, aren't really meleeing. So it's pretty safe for you to do that. Yeah, see, I did it again. There's just, you have a lot of space there, so you're not in too much danger from shifting into cat form. Just being especially careful here. The Overseers have pretty poor movement, so you just got to make sure that the mobs don't die on top of them. And then we're just going to pull the next pack back on top of the canister. We're not going to open the canister until this stuff is low HP, and then we're going to kill it on top of the canister to get it so that we have the max duration of the canister going into our prideful here. Yeah, I believe this one I just kind of eat. Yeah. To delay casts a little bit. Yeah, we have the thing open now. We kill these oppressors inside of it, get our couple buff stacks. Then I move and LOS pull the rest of the stuff. I probably could have left a little bit earlier there. The only thing I want to avoid is having the Overseer not die inside of it. So we're using Ring here to group everything up. Going out, AoEing it all down. Again, same deal with the other big pack. We don't have AoE silences, so it's just any kind of CC we're using. See disorients, individual stuns, individual interrupts. We still almost have people going down. So yeah, it's definitely a spooky pull without like a Boomkin or a Demon Hunter, a Vengeance Demon Hunter in particular. Yeah, we do manage to get our 10 stack, I believe. Right at the end, it spawns Pride. And we're able to just absolutely melt this Pride. And then from here, we go into our Shroud, and our goal here is to refresh our stacks. So we're going to Shroud through. I'm in Stealth right here, I believe. Should be in Stealth. I'm not in Stealth. Okay, it's fine. But basically now we have this canister. And that quill is the target. That quill will die like instantly. So the canister opens up and the quill dies just like that, and we refresh our stacks. Now the one thing we could have done differently here is, I believe, this man decided to stay in Sanguine for a while, so that's unfortunate. I end up just eating the puddle damage. Yeah, so we could have, you saw the pat was behind us. See, it's right over there. What we could have done is probably polyed the front scribe. If you're familiar with, like, back what we did in the Halls of Atonement video, that padding Houndmaster, you poly the front one, and it just stops the pat entirely. What we probably should have done is polyed it as soon as it was in poly range, and then pulled these 3 back on top of this canister, because that would have refreshed these stacks again. And it would have given us more time with the buff moving into the next section, and made us less rushed in general. We would have been able to open the next canister a little bit slower. But overall, we did actually end up refreshing it again on the next canister, so it wasn't too big a deal. But we're just waiting here for this pat to leave, I believe. And then I'm moving towards the canister. Yeah. I do have Incarn here, and this is what I saved it for in case this was a gargoyle. And so we just open up it again. We refresh our stacks yet again. And so basically what would have happened if we had done this the other way is we wouldn't have had to open this canister this early. We could have opened it near the end of this pack to refresh stacks then, which would have meant we had it for longer into the next couple packs. So that's a little thing we could have done to refresh this, to have this big damage buff longer. But that's one of the reasons, honestly, Sanguine, if you're able to chain these damage buffs, is actually not too tight on the timer. You're able to chain it correctly. So now I'm pulling those guys back. I think the thing ends soon. I'm not sure if we're able to refresh it one more time. Okay, we do get one more refresh there. Yeah, but basically that quill is probably where you would initially open the canister if we had done the refresh on the previous canister correctly. Yeah, see, now the canister's gone. So you would have had it for at least another minute here if we had done it correctly. But overall, we did it fairly well, just not perfect. Finishing off all these guys. Sanguine can definitely be a bit annoying here as well because the scribes don't move very well. You have to be right up in their face, or you have to outrange them, one of the two. Yeah, our Sanguine buff now is basically running out, so I guess the main difference is you'd have it for this pack, and you might have it for the beginning of this Pride. And basically the reason we shrouded and the reason we pulled just the one pack on the right is to line up this Pride with the boss. So now we're going to have Pride, we're going to have Bloodlust going into this second boss. And it's a pretty spooky one, so you definitely want to try and line it up if you can. Going straight into Pride. And then Pride is going straight into boss. Yeah, not too much to see here on the Pride, I guess. Skip to the end. It is a Grievous Pride. Grievous Prides just suck in general, but yeah. Not much you can do about it besides either kill it faster or commit more cooldowns to it, healer-wise. I'm going into this boss. Luckily, we have a very good comp for boss, actually. With Castigate, we can avoid almost all of them. See, he ice blocked that one. Manifestation's up. You hard focus those every time. Make sure they just melt like that. And we're just dancing back and forth. It's on the mage again. I believe he invises this. I don't actually remember. Yeah, so you can invis it if you get it off fast enough. You can ice block it, obviously. Rogues can vanish. Rogues can cloak. Warriors can have a spell reflect. So it's, in general, we have a very good comp for it. It's just the priest is a little bit in danger if the priest gets it. Yeah. And this boss is melting, as you can see. So Pride plus Bloodlust, very, very helpful here. It just makes it so this boss does not last long enough to murder you. I believe we ignore this last manifestation, just kill the boss because his health is so low. And then we move up and we start pulling more stuff. So here, the magic number for this specific route is 74.5%. So that's where you want to get to. Pulling these two is a mistake. I'm not supposed to pull these two, just so you guys know. I only pulled them because we got this Sentinel, and I didn't have cooldowns. I wasn't comfortable pulling the next pack with the Sentinel, and so that's why I did this. In general, though, you don't want to pull this 2-pack. Yeah, so we're just doing these guys, and yeah, the Sentinel is scary on its own, and the next pack has a bunch of those ghoul guys, right? Yeah, the Frenzied Ghouls. See, this only has 1. The next pack has, like, 4, I believe? I don't 100% remember, because we'll find out, but yeah, here we also got padded into. Not ideal, to be sure. I think, yeah, I was in a pretty bad angle. I didn't even see them coming in, right? Yeah. Yeah, my angle here was pretty bad. I didn't even see them really pad in. Yeah, and then I move over here, and my back's to them. Yep. Yeah, so again, ideal thing is probably to, like, distract or poly them before they even get into us, just so we don't pull it in. But I believe we do end up not getting murdered by this pack. So that's good. Yeah, I see it a little late. Luckily, yeah, we do finish off the gargoyle before this pack is before this pack gets too much damage into me, so that's good. And we're able to, yeah, we clean it up. Not the cleanest, but we did it. Yeah, and then we go into the scary pack. I now have Incarn up with 4 the scary pack. Because there's a bunch of ghouls. How many is there? 4? I believe there's 4. Yeah, 4. And these guys just hurt. Normally you would want to kite them as soon as they get their enrage effect up, but with Incarn it's not too big a deal. Yeah, I can live through it with Incarn and spamming Thrash. Yeah, and then we need to pull one more pack after this. Ideally I probably should be kiting now the other way to move towards the next pack. Yeah, we'd have to pull this pack regardless, which is why you don't want to pull the 2-pack that I mentioned earlier. But it puts you a little bit over percent. I believe it puts it at like 76 or something, but it's not a big deal. It doesn't ruin anything. It just makes your last Pride a little less clean, but it's not a big deal. We're just killing this last pack here, and then we're jumping down towards the next boss, and this actually gives us a Pride for that 3rd boss as well. Making our way down. And we're just finishing off this trash. Not too much here, just keeping kicks on the oppressors and stuff. You just want to kill these last 2 oppressors together. So you kill the 3 and then you kill these 2 together, and that'll spawn your Pride. And then you take this Pride right into boss. And you go. Now this boss is also pretty scary for a healer's perspective. So tank, you always want to make sure you have something up for Iron Spikes. As a Guardian Druid, something up can be just like a couple stacks of Iron Fur, and then you Frenzied Regen right at the beginning of the cast, and it heals you up for pretty much most of the cast. So that's actually a little way if you run out of other personal defensives. So you have a lot at your disposal as a Guardian Druid anyways, but that's a nice one you can use. But basically there's just, what we're doing here is we're rotating immunities and soaks here. So that first one with Pride, we did an immunity. This next one, we're going to Ice Block, so the Mage doesn't pick up anything. Everyone else can pick up way more than normal. Mage blocks, and no one is really scared. Similarly, for the next one, we're going to be doing Rogue Cloak. So the Rogue is going to cloak it. Everyone else is going to get to pick up extra orbs, and everyone's going to be very, very safe. So the spookiest one is if you're the first one, but we're doing that with Pride, so that you get that bit of a healing buff, and you can commit smaller personals to that as well. Very safe for everyone, as you can see. So the immunities help that out a lot, actually. It's very, very helpful to have those immunities and stagger them. That's the main thing. You want to stagger them. You don't want to commit them to the same one. Because of just how the orbs work, right? Committing 2 immunities to just one set of orbs is just overkill. But staggering to allow you to safely deal with 2 different sets is very good. Alright, so from here, we're just LOS pulling this back and killing this stuff. And we're actually going to skip the next pack because it's a very, very spooky pack. Just slowly kiting back. Again, traps are also, they're very painful here, so I'm going to eat them so that no one accidentally steps on them. As a tank, like if you just have a minor defensive up and you have a couple, like I have a couple Ironforge rolling when I did that, it's really not the biggest deal. I had Barkskin up as well, so yeah, it might be magic damage. I don't actually remember if this is magic damage or not, but overall, it's not a ton of damage to a tank, especially if a defensive up, so it's usually worthwhile to just eat those so no one else does. And now we're just Shroud past this stuff into the Gauntlet. Now I do have Incarn up. I'm not going to use it. So basically what happens in the Gauntlet is this first pack is full of Acolytes, so it's more dangerous to your party members, not you as a tank. See there, they chose the same target a bunch. It's the next pack that is by far the most scary for a tank. Pack number 2. So what we're going to do here is we're finishing off this pack. I roll Incarn and I go into this next pack. And then I'm close to having to use the big shield here. But yeah, it's this pack full of cadets that are spooky for tanks because they just do a ton of tank damage. They also do count as real mobs, unlike the Acolytes, where the Acolytes won't leave Sanguine, all those stuff. The Cadets will, so you do have to be careful here. See, I knock back just to make sure Call doesn't get any healing from Sanguine, because that is a pain. Okay, you really, really want to avoid that. So Sanguine week especially, be careful with the Cadets. But yeah, that is, even though it didn't look it, you gotta commit CDs to that, because that is by far the scariest pack in this Gauntlet for a tank. Because there's just so many cadets. Like, this pack is a little bit less scary because there's only 3 cadets, but it's also decently scary. So you see I committed my scale. I'm going to commit Barkskin here as well. So it's back-to-back scary packs, but that second pull is definitely more scary, so I would commit bigger CDs to that. Cutting it close with the shield there a little bit, but it's fine. And we're killing Call fully here before. We're not going to chain pull like we did with the last 2, because we actually want to use the Lantern again. So there's another Lantern here. You can get to 10 stacks again for the last set of Call damage, which is very, very helpful. And so that's what we do. We head over to this Lantern. Insta get that 1 stack. That's why we didn't kill that Gargan there, that very, very low health Gargan. And we just LOS pull again, get all these stacks, and what are 10 stacks. There we go. All the way up to 10 stacks, and we go straight into this last Call pull, and he just gets absolutely melted. This pull is fairly safe for tanks. I think it's another bigger acolyte pull. Yeah, there's a few acolytes in this pack. No cadets. So that's another alternate. So basically it goes dangerous for your party, 2 dangerous for the tank, and then 2 dangerous for the party again. From here, though, we're just finishing off call, and we're going into the next pack. We do still have our 10 stack, so that's why I'm chain pulling here. Try and get this pack down as far as we can with that 10 stack, because it is a lot of damage. Just avoiding the bleed there, again, the severing slice, as you saw, just so I can avoid that first one. And if there is a second one, which there probably will be at this point because our 10 stack is gone, I'll just have to eat that. Might actually be able to kill it. Very close. Almost. I get it right at the end. Unfortunate. And then we just have one last LOS pull. So like I said, that earlier percent we got, that 2-pack we pulled in the cage, if we didn't pull it, this would still be enough percent here. We were going to go over percent by a little bit. It just means that you have to kill these 2 Huntmasters together if you pull that extra bit. If you don't pull that extra bit, the Pride will spawn on the second Houndmaster's death regardless, so it's fine. But in this case, it's going to spawn on the first Huntmaster death, so we just need to make sure we kill them close together. Yeah, and that's really it for this pack, and then that goes straight into Pride. And then again, we have Pride and Lust for a 3rd boss. So that is kind of the play with this dungeon, is you want to try and line up Prides for every boss, because every boss in here is scary. And then you want to Lust bosses, and so you can Lust 1st, 2nd, and 4th boss in this dungeon. So that's very, very helpful. And you see, we still have 7 minutes on the key here, so we have plenty of time. Yeah, we're just moving straight into the last boss here with Pride, with Lust, and we're just gonna go nuke him. Yeah, and so it is ideal to kind of tank him a little bit probably further into the corner, just to give Wicked Rush targets a little bit more time, because they can sidestep that Wicked Gash there if you give them enough travel time. But aside from that, obviously things like Blink, I believe, I'm not sure if Cloak actually prevents you from getting the bleed application, but then just moving towards the center a little bit before Gloom Squall when there's no more dashes going out, and then straight immediately going back to a corner as soon as you can, just to give, again, these Wicked Rush targets a little bit more time to just walk out of it. This is possible for literally everyone, especially for the second Wicked Rush target, to just walk out of your Wicked Rush and avoid the bleed stack entirely. So that's just one little thing you can do for this boss. But that is just about it for this run, guys. Remember, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe to support the channel. It really does help. If you have any questions regarding Sanguine Depths, Guardian Druids, or even just tanking in general, feel free to leave a comment below, or you can come stop by my Twitch at Tactics, and I will do my best to answer. That is all for now, though. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.